What's up everyone, David 7ECHNO here. I just released Ableton Techno Rumble Kick. It's a collection of 3 Ableton racks that are gonna make your techno kicks amazing. So let's go and check them out. So one of the most important and distinctive elements about this rack is that normally when you get a Techno Rumble rack or plugin, what you get is a kick that goes through a reverb and then a distortion and then a delay, and they do sound good, but you don't have consistency within the tails of the reverb. And that's because the kick goes through a reverb and then you get the tail, and then another kick goes through the reverb, and then you get another tail, and so the tail of the second kick overlapped with the tail of the first kick. And you know, you get this building up of tails upon tails, and the sound is never really consistent, unless, you know, the decay time of your reverb is fairly short, but that doesn't sound beefy enough when you're trying to do techno rumbles. But with these particular chains, that doesn't happen because the reverb resets every time the kick hits. So here I set up 2 of the same Techno Rumble racks. So one doesn't take advantage of the reverb reset that I set up, you can tell by the name, and the other one does. So let's hear the difference. So this one is the one without reverb reset. So you can hear what happens here is exactly what I explained a second ago. The kick goes through the reverb, and then another kick goes through to the same reverb, and the tail builds up, and you just hear this like movement within the reverb, and you know, it's kind of unusable. But with these Techno Rumble chains, the reverb reset every time. So this is how it sounds. So you hear the difference again. The reverb tail, the rumble is always the same, is always consistent, and it doesn't matter how long the decay is. So if we push it to like 60 seconds, which is super long, this is how it's gonna sound. And that is pretty cool. So now let's take some random kicks that I prepared here, and let's just throw some of the chains and some of the presets that I made, and you know, just tweak stuff around, and let's hear how it sounds. So now we have this kick. Actually, let's get rid of this chain so that you can hear it from scratch. We got this kick. And so each and every rack comes with 10 presets. Every rack is a little bit different, so sometimes it's more distorted, like the third one is more distorted. The second one has frequency control, and the first one is probably the best one. It has a bit of everything. It sounds beefy enough, but without being too distorted. The delay module is really good, probably one of my favorite. But yeah, so you get 10 presets in each and every rack. So you got a total of 30 presets that I designed. So right off the bat, this is how it sounds. So for example, we don't like the delay to be that loud, and we want the reverb to be a little bit louder. I mean, it sounds great right out of the box, but we can have a high pass filter on the reverb. And then we can have a low pass filter, so everything above these frequencies is just going to be cut out. This is going to be way brighter. And if we turn it down, then we have low pass filter resonance, and this is going to control the resonance of the low pass filter. And the good thing about this is that it's going to create a peak, so you can try and tune your rumble. Then we have 2 drives. So we have a pre-filter drive and a post-filter drive. This is gonna distort the reverb signal before it hits the filter, and this is gonna distort the signal after it hit the filter. And obviously the last thing we have is just a simple reverb control. So we can make it louder, or if you want to use just a delay section, we can kill it completely. Now let's go to the delay module, and the delay module sounds really good. I really like it. So here we can decide how much bandwidth the delay has. And here we can control where the band is in the frequency range. Now, peak volume creates a peak in the frequency spectrum that we can decide with the peak frequency. This is really good to create some sort of like very resonant kind of delay. Now, auto pan allows you to have one hit of the delay on your right and one other on the left. It's really good when you're trying to create a bit of space. You know, kick have to be mono, but with that, you can have a bit of a wider kick without having to actually have the kick in stereo. Then we have distortion type. So the distortion type basically switch between some type of distortion. Some are brighter, some are darker, some are way heavier, and some are more clean. And obviously we have distortion drive wet, and that basically gives us the amount of distortion that we want. Last but not least is the volume control. So we can decide to have very loud delay or very quiet delay or no delay at all. So yeah, this is it. I'm just gonna go through some of the presets, but as you can hear, it's incredibly simple to create amazing techno rumble kicks. It's insane. One thing I really like is I like to move the room size. You gotta be really careful because sometimes you create some like crazy resonances, but around 5 is where I tend to get the best sounding rumbles, but it really depends on the kick. It really depends on the editing that you're doing afterwards. But basically, the lower you go, the more resonant your rumble is gonna be, while the higher you go, the more like spacey and undefined your reverb is gonna be. Right, so let's check out some of the preset. Actually, let's change kick as well. Let's use rumble 3 for this one, and let's play the kick without the chain. Let's turn on the chain. I mean, guys, this is like instant techno rumble kick, like super legit, and I didn't do anything. So this is the first preset. Let's try the second preset, third preset, fourth. So yeah, like I was saying before, the rumble 3 is definitely the grittiest and more distorted one out of the 3. It really depends on the type of music that you're doing, but they all sound really good. Let's try a new kick. And this time, let's try rumble 2. So yes, I would say rumble 2 is definitely the darkest one of the 3 racks. And so another cool feature of all these racks and all these presets is that what you notice when I am playing the song and I am stopping with the space bar, the reverb keeps going. But if we have our kick in the song and we're playing our song and the kick at some point stops, we're not gonna get the tail of the reverb. So we're not gonna have to mess with automation where everything gets muted and stuff because of the tail of the reverb. We can just simply let it go. So hear how it sounds. There you go, gone. The only thing that we have is the delay tail, but that's really tiny, and most of the time you want a little bit of continuity. And of course, this works with all the racks and all the preset. They all stop when the kick signal is not there. Well, this is it, guys. The Ableton Techno Rumble racks are available now on standalone-music.com, so go check them out and let me know if you like them. For me, David, 7ECHNO, this is it. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.